Hey, Allison Verhalen here with AV Writing Services, and today we are talking about the ideal blog post length. This is a question I get all the time. How long should my blog post be? So we're going to break it down for you. We're going to talk about everything you need to know from SEO to converting those leads to how to get people to actually read your super long blog post, because I have bad news for you. It's for SEO, the general rule is that it does need to be a pretty long blog post. But first, I'm gonna stop you before I get into all of the other strategies for determining how long your blog post should be. And I'm going to tell you that the first thing you need to do is determine the goal of your blog post. Every piece of marketing content you create needs to have a goal, and it is not always to get people to buy from you right away, or to reach out to you, or to click that schedule a meeting button or fill out their form or whatever it is. It might be, if it's a sales page or a contact page, then yes, absolutely you want to get people to buy from you. But if it's a blog post, and especially if you're in a B2B industry or a professional services industry where that buyer journey tends to be a little bit longer, because it takes a while to build that trust and convince people they really want to work with you and not one of your competitors. So that can take a while, and make it sure that it's worth their while to invest the time and money into your services. So absolutely keep all that in mind. So with a blog post, it might not be that you want them to buy from you right away. It can be if you're featuring a new product or service and you're writing a blog post about it. That is absolutely an option, but the vast majority of your blog posts need to be educational. They need to provide value. And so it might make more sense at the end of that blog post to invite them to sign up for your newsletter or follow you on social media, or you can use a magnet or a lead magnet, like a PDF or a free ebook or a checklist or something they can download, which usually leads them to subscribe to your newsletter. Because again, that way you have their email address. You can keep sending great content into their inbox, so that when they're ready to buy, they'll know that you've got the goods, because they'll have seen all that content. And then again, if you have any special promotions or discounts, you can make sure that they are the first ones to know about that, which can also be an incentive for them to buy. So that is first and foremost. What is the goal of that particular piece of content? Because that is going to be a key factor in deciding how long it should be. So first, everyone wants to know about SEO, right? What do I need to show up on the first page of Google? All of the data says that the average length of blog posts showing up on Google is around 2,000 words. If you're not familiar with how long that is, if that just sounds like a big number to you and it doesn't really mean anything to you, if you're writing it out in, let's say, a Word document, it's about 4 pages in a Word document, is give or take, single-spaced. So that's a lot of content, right? So the general rule, how much do I need to show up on the first page of Google? 2,000 words, that's it, there you go. But like I said, it's a little more complicated than that. It depends on your goals. There are a lot of factors. So let's break it down a little bit more. Let's talk about your specific keywords, because when we talk about, the average blog post showing up on Google, that's out of all of the keywords that are getting entered into that search bar, right? Which is, I don't even know how many keywords that is. It's an unfathomable number to me. So research your particular keywords, because it might be different for your specific keywords. It might be as little as 500 or 1,000 words. I know I've seen blog posts when I'm researching something on Google, and something will pop up at the top of that first page and it's only like 500, 600 words. So take a look once you identify your keywords. Always identify your keywords first, right? You want to make sure that they are getting the people are searching that particular keyword, but that keyword is not already being used by tons of your competitors on lots of content, and it's flooding the internet, and there's no way that you're going to rank for that particular keyword. So keep all of that in mind. So we've got that. So keep that in mind with your keywords. So then part of your keyword research should be to actually search that keyword and see what kind of content comes up. Is it the super long blog post? Do they all have something similar in their headline, or a similar headline length, or what have you? Take that into account, do your research, see what's actually ranking for that keyword. and then kind of reverse engineer that and put that into your own blog post. So depending on the keywords that you're targeting, you might not have to write 2,000 words for every blog post, right? You might only need 500 to 1,000 words. So next up is engagement. So that is a big one. We want people to engage with our content, right? If we're writing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words, that takes a lot of time, right? So we want people to actually engage with that content. So how long should the content be in order to get people to engage with this? I hear people say this all the time. I don't have time to read 2,000 words. My audience is not going to read 2,000 words. Why am I bothering to write all this? Well, according to Medium, which tracks all of their data as far as how long their blog posts are, how long people stick around, the posts that get the most engagement on medium.com tend to be, it's 7 minutes long. Medium measures in terms of how long people stick around, and they determine 7 minutes is roughly 1,600 words, right? So you're still writing fairly long blog posts, and yeah, people are sticking around for 7 minutes, which I know in the digital age sounds like an extremely long amount of time, right? Who has that kind of time these days? But if your content is super valuable and engaging, people are going to stick around and read all of it. Now, comparing the time to the word count is a little iffy because it has lots of images or some videos. People might be sticking around longer even if it has a lower word count. So anywhere from like 1,000 to 1,600 words, I would say, is about 7 minutes worth. So don't underestimate your audience's ability to stick around. Again, especially if you're in a B2B industry or a professional services industry, they are putting the work into doing this research, and it's not something where they want a quick answer and then go. They want to get a little more in depth with this. So absolutely keep that in mind, that engagement is key. And if you want conversions, so the next one is according to Brainwork. So again, we're writing content so we can get more leads, convert those cold leads into warm leads, and the warm leads into customers, right? So according to Brainwork, it takes about 1,000 to 1,500 words to convert a customer from a blog post. So that's kind of the average for that goal. So again, if it's something where you're really looking to increase members in your Facebook group or your newsletter subscribers, or if you have a very specific goal and you want people to convert from this blog post, maybe it only needs to be 1,000 to 1,500 words. And again, keep in mind that kind of tracks with engagement, right? If they're engaging with a little bit longer and they're spending more time with it, they're probably more likely to convert into customers. So maybe 1,000 to 1,500 words is the sweet spot for that particular goal. If you want to show up in Google, though, that's a little bit of a different story. So finally, I talked about the super long blog post, right? People don't have time to just sit around and read thousands and thousands of words. I get it. I don't have time for that either. So make it skimmable. Make it super easy for people to get in, find what they need, and then get out or convert. Ideally, they're going to convert. But my blog posts, for example, they have the subheadings throughout the content. So you've got a few paragraphs explaining one section, you got another subheading, and then a few more paragraphs explaining that section and another subheading. So it's super easy to skim for people to just go through and see, oh, this is the section that has what I need. This is what I want to know about right here. This is also going to improve your SEO because Google also keeps track of it. Google, reads your content and it reads your heading and those subheadings first. And if you're doing it right with the subheadings, it should show up as a meta tag, and you can put an alt tag in there to help Google categorize your content. So if you do it right, it should improve your SEO and improve your engagement. I also make it super easy by putting a table of contents at the very top of my blog post, and I provide links to each subheading. So if they just look at that table of contents and they go, I don't care, that right there, that's what I want to know about, they can click on it. They don't have to scroll down. They don't have to get past all the other content and hope that they find it. They just have to click that link and they're there. So that is it. Those are my tips today for how to determine the ideal blog post length. If you have any other questions, you can reach me directly at info@avwritingservices.com. My website is avwritingservices.com. I obviously have a blog full of useful information just like this one. Some of my blog posts are, I would say, at least 1,500 words. Some of them get to be longer than 2,000 words, but at the end of the day, it's all about quality over quantity, right? I'm not gonna fill a blog post with 500 words of fluff just to reach a particular word count, right? If it's 1,500 words of solid, valuable content, that is way more valuable to my readers than, again, 500 words, 1,000 words of fluff. I can do that. I majored in English. I spent 4 years putting fluff in order to reach a certain word count, and it wasn't super valuable and it wasn't great content. I got the grades, I passed, but it's not how I want to run my business. So those are my tips, and if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me. Otherwise, have a great week and happy blogging.